What's up, y'all? I'm back out here on the range. As you can see, started out a chilly morning, but it's gonna be a beautiful day out here to do some testing. So y'all know I'm gonna take advantage of that, and we're gonna kick this thing off with another 380 test. So we got the jelly contraption clocked in for work with the radar and 2 freshly melted blocks of gel. As you can see, not a single test done on this one, so we're gonna get a really nice picture of what happens here. And of course, as always, I'm sticking with my heavy clothing barrier that's got the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. So for this one here, we're going back to basics with it. As you can see, we got the Winchester white box 380 95 grain jacketed hollow point. Velocity on this is saying 995 feet per second. Who knows what size barrel. We'll probably see that out of the longer one and not see it out of the shorty like we usually do. Here's a look at your cartridge, just a brass case there. The projectile's pretty interesting looking. I mean, it's a big old opening right there at the start, but it's really deep and really narrow down in the bottom there. So who knows what's going to happen with this cloth. I really would like to see this stuff do well. The 9mm, y'all know I've tested it in the past and several other people have. It does pretty doggone good to be what it is now. It's no phenomenal top of the list type of round, but it's plenty adequate, and you can get it at a decent cost most of the time. So again, I really do hope this 380 does well. And as far as what I'm running them out of, as y'all can see, again, for the shorty, we got the LCP Max as usual with the 2.8-inch barrel is what they consider that. And then for the longer one, I've got my Performance Center M&P Shield EZ here in 380. Now technically it's a 3.8-inch barrel, but it does have about a 1/4 inch of nothing but just a port up there at the front. So basically about an inch longer between this one and that one. So this ought to be another really interesting one. Let me get this set up and let's see what they can do. All right, y'all, let's see how fast these things are moving. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with this LCP Max first. Now, I know most of y'all are probably familiar by now, but for those of y'all who hadn't watched my videos in the past, you're gonna get multiple velocities from this radar here. Your large number is gonna be your muzzle, and then you'll get 5 additional ones across the bottom. One's gonna be set for 3 yards, which is where your gel is, and then you'll have 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Let's see what we got here, y'all. 995 again is what the box is claiming. Let's see how far away we are. 878, 872, 882, 879. Woo, that 75-yarder, and 841. Hit the 75-yarder on that last one that slowed down. Maybe that helped me aim a little better. Let's see what that average is. All right, we were pretty far off from that 995 on the box. As y'all see, our average there was 870, and it was pretty consistent there until that last 841. I don't know what that was all about, but that gave us an extreme spread after that of 41 and a standard deviation of 16.7. So even discounting that low when you're in the high 800s, which is, you know, that's 100 off from what the box is. Out of that short barrel, I pretty much expected that though. Let's swap to the EZ and see what it does. All right, let's see how much we can squeeze out of this extra inch of barrel. Remember again, the box is saying 995. Just based on what I've seen in the past, I don't know if this will even hit that now at this point. And just an extra inch to pick up basically 100, it might. I don't know. We'll see. I've seen some pretty big spreads, but I don't know. I've got my doubts this time. 961, 944, 950, 942, and 923. So we got definitely closer, but still a good ways off. Let's see what that average was. All right, so that time we had an average of 944, and oddly enough, we had almost kind of the same kind of situation with the velocity on that 5th round. It dropped on down on us compared to the other 4. It was a good bit lower, so had an average of 944, so our extreme spread ended up 37 with the standard deviation of 13.7 because of that last 923 that was so much lower than the others. So 944 on this, and if you remember on that LCP, it was 870, so you're talking about 74 feet per second second faster from that extra 1 inch of barrel. So 74 feet per second based on these velocities, I mean, that's getting close to 10%. So that's pretty significant. As far as what he's going to do in the gel at both of these speeds, I mean, that's, as far as the max, I would say right now that the max is going to no kind of expansion. It's going to start tumbling in there. That's what I think you're going to see from that one. From the EZ, that's a tough call on that one. I've still got my doubts at those kind of speeds that these things are going to expand and do well, but I really do hope I'm wrong. Let me get this stuff set up and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's keeping it simple jelly time. I'm gonna put one from each barrel length down there into the gel, starting with this LCP Max first. Again, if I'm guessing, this is gonna tumble with absolutely no expansion at all, so hopefully it don't tumble out the side or top or any of that nonsense. Let's see what we get here, y'all. All right, that was actually exactly where I wanted that thing. Hopefully it stayed in. Let's go see what we got. All right, pretty much what I expected down there, y'all. Luckily, it didn't tumble out or anything, so we good to go there. Let's see what this EZ does. After seeing that one right there, I mean, y'all can already see, I'm sure there was no attempt at expansion, so I doubt this one will either. Maybe this one will prove me wrong, though. All right, that should have been another good one. I know it went a lot further because I can see in the side down there. Let's go see what we got. All right, let's check these things out down here, y'all. Both of them I would call failures personally. Y'all know how I am about these hollow points that don't expand. And yes, there are some hollow points that are not meant to expand, but we're not talking about target rounds here. I'm talking about rounds that are marketed as personal protection, which is what these are marketed as. These hollow points are supposed to expand, and you didn't get even the slightest bit on either one of these. So on the top here, that's your LCP Max. As you can see, it comes in, carries on through that first block. It was obviously clogged up with material because it dumped it basically all out right here. Kept on going a little bit further. It just barely touched the front edge of this second block and it rebounded a little. And I don't think it tumbled at all. That's the one thing that does surprise me about coming out of the LCP Max. You didn't get any tumbling that I can see because the projectile's sitting there facing forward. And then underneath it, of course, is the EZ. In my opinion, I'll just tell you right now, I think this is a worse performance than the LCP Max here, even moving faster, and that's probably why it just kept on zipping through here faster. After about this point, there's little to no kind of disruption. I mean, it's zipping right through in a straight line, goes into that second block, and looks like about 3/4 of the way through this second block, and no kind of expansion at all on this one either. So these things either just can't handle being clogged with that cloth, or even this one right here is still not fast enough. But whatever the case, these expanding hollow points do not expand out of either one of these lengths. So let's see what we got on penetration here. This one poked into this second block actually 1/4 of an inch. So we got 16 1/4 on that LCP Max. And then this one here from the EZ is all the way out here at 26 inches. So even for me, that's more than you probably need right there, and not what you're supposed to get from these rounds. Here's your closer look, since I had to pull you so far back because of that penetration. But again, LCP Max on the top, EZ on the bottom. You can see what I mean as far as the LCP Max did better in this one, I believe. You can see that disruption on the bottom. It starts to fizzle out, and then basically you got nothing but just a little straight line. There's that Max there, and then the EZ keeps on going, and there you see it there. Neither one any kind of expansion. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. So this one right here, this is out of the LCP Max, this is out of the EZ. So you can pretty much tell what happened here. The one from this EZ obviously clogged with cloth because it's still clogged with cloth at the end of its travel. And that's probably why it got less disruption, because the cloth stayed in there instead of getting dumped out and letting it kind of get that disruption from that flat hollow point there. The LCP Max, you can see it's still got some stuck down in it too. I was saying earlier that it's got a wide open opening here, but then it's got a really deep little small opening, and you can see that's what clogged right there in the max. So both of these, not even an attempt at expansion. You can see there the little skives don't look like they're trying to open at all. So I don't know what the deal is with these. I'm assuming it's just not enough speed to get these things to try to open up right. But let's get our measurements on them and see what we got. So they started at 95. This one from the LCP Max is 95.0, so obviously nothing lost. This one right here from the EZ is 95.4, so I'm sure some of the cloth is accounting for some of that, but nothing lost at all from either one of those. And then as far as size, there's going to be nothing to measure really here, but I'll give you the base size. This is the one from the EZ. I pulled that cloth out so it doesn't interfere with the measurement. You got 351 going that direction and 352 going this direction, so a little bit small there, but pretty much what they're supposed to be. As far as the length, you got 0.45. And then this one here from the Max, I suspect is going to be the same. You got 353 and another 353, and then as far as the length on this one, you got 447. So obviously no kind of expansion or deformation really on either one of them. And there you have it, y'all, the Winchester white box in 380. Definitely not as good as the 9mm in this case. The 9mm white box was something that I would consider had worked pretty much like it was supposed to. Now, not the greatest example, like I said, but it worked, as far as I'm concerned, pretty well for what it is. These right here, in my opinion, again, they're a total fail. Now, would they work? Yeah, they would do the job pretty much as well as most expanding 380s or FMJs. That's what I'm always going to go back to. I'm not going to pay a premium for this kind of performance when you can just get FMJ and get basically the same thing out of them, because you're not getting consistency, you're not getting expansion. All you're really getting is just an overpriced solid round once it clogs with material. All right, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up right there for this first test of the day. The testing went well, but the performance of the rounds, not so much. Like y'all have heard me say on plenty of tests in the past, and this is another case of it, my main complaint about stuff like this is you're not getting what you're paying for. Now, in a vacuum, looking at this test right here, either one of them would really do the job. Now, that's probably more penetration than the majority of people would want out of that EZ, but that LCP Max penetration was absolutely perfect. It was absolutely perfect. The disruption is fine in that. That's not a big deal. Disruption in the gel is just more to look at and kind of compare anyway. It's not really a one-to-one. So looking at this test by itself, if you didn't know the ammo or anything about the situation, that LCP Max would do the job fine. But again, you're paying for something that you are not getting right there. You're paying for an expanding hollow point for certain reasons that you want that. And although it did a fine job right here, you're not guaranteed that. That's not how that round's supposed to behave, and you are just not guaranteed to get that from it every time. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir with most of y'all out there on this, but let me know down in the comments what you think about the performance from them. Is this something that you would actually pay the extra cost versus an FMJ? Let me know down below what you think about it. If you did enjoy the video, take a second and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got them notifications on so hopefully you get notified when I upload stuff. If you're doing some shopping, like I always remind you, check out those affiliate links in the video description. That's a good way to get something that you need or want anyway and help out the channel. Anything you buy after going through those links down there, I do get a kickback from them, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, a big thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all out there for supporting the channel. I've got a few more really interesting tests planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for those. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.